Cumberland Gap, Kentucky. 0320 hours. Navy SEALs discover underground facility sealed since 1963. Equipment still running. Personnel vanished without trace. Then they find the radio. Still broadcasting. Still asking for a sit rep from soldiers who died 30 years ago. Subscribe to Warborn Shadows. Because some military installations were sealed for a reason. My name is Dylan Hart. March 1991. I was 26 years old and had been a Navy SEAL for 4 years. Recon was my specialty. Getting into places nobody else could reach, documenting what I found, getting out clean. I'd done insertions in Panama, Desert Storm prep work in Saudi staging areas, cold water operations off the Korean DMZ. I knew how to stay invisible, how to read terrain, how to keep my mouth shut. But what we found beneath Cumberland Gap wasn't in any manual. The official story, if there even is one, doesn't exist. The mission was scrubbed from record 3 weeks after we surfaced. Our after-action reports were classified beyond anything I'd seen, even in DevGru. The USGS survey that triggered the whole thing? Restricted to a classification level I didn't have clearance for, and I had clearance for plenty. I'm telling you this now because someone needs to. Because whatever we left down there is still waiting. The briefing came down on February 22nd, 1991. We were at Dam Neck, Virginia, running hostage rescue drills in the kill house when our CO pulled us aside. Lieutenant Commander Jack Reeves, good officer, calm under pressure, the kind of guy who'd tell you the truth even when it hurt. Pack cold weather gear, he said. We're going underground. 4 of us total. Small team. Reeves as officer in charge. Chief Ray Matheson, senior enlisted, 20 years in the teams. Miguel Santos on comms. Me on point and security, that was it. No support element, no quick reaction force on standby. Just 4 SEALs and whatever we could carry. The target brief was thin. Geological survey detected void spaces beneath Cumberland Gap National Historical Park. Depth, 350 feet, maybe deeper. Structure inconsistent with natural cave systems or documented mining. Angular, deliberate, possibly artificial. Could be old Civil War tunnels, Matheson said, studying the seismic readings. Or bootleggers. Hell, could be nothing. Reeves shook his head. USGS doesn't send restricted reports over nothing, and they don't task SEALs for cave tours. He was right. We flew into Knoxville on the 25th. Civilian clothes, rental vehicles, no identification beyond driver's licenses with names that weren't ours. The park was closed for the season. Late winter, snow still clinging to the high ridges. We had a park service contact who unlocked the gates at 0400 and disappeared without a word. The entry point was 3 miles in, off-trail, marked only by GPS coordinates. A natural sinkhole, 60 feet across, choked with deadfall and undergrowth. We rigged ropes and descended. The forest above us swallowed the daylight in stages. First the canopy, then the rock walls, then the throat of the earth itself. By the time we reached the bottom of the sinkhole, the only light came from our headlamps, white beams cutting through absolute black. The air changed. Cold, but not the cold of winter. This was deeper, older, the kind of cold that seeps into your chest and sits there. Matheson tested the air with a handheld meter. Oxygen's good. No methane, no CO2 buildup. Then why does it feel like we're breathing something else? Santos muttered. He was right. There was a taste to the air, metallic, stale, like the inside of a sealed container that hadn't been opened in decades. We moved single file, me in front, rifle up, scanning. The passage was natural at first, limestone walls, water-carved and smooth. But 50 feet in, that changed. The walls straightened, not gradually, not over distance, just straight. Like someone had taken a saw to the rock and carved clean lines, 90-degree angles where there shouldn't be any. The floor leveled out, still stone, but too flat, too even. "This isn't natural," I said. Reeves moved up beside me, running his gloved hand along the wall. No tool marks, no drill patterns. Then how the hell did they cut it? He didn't answer. We followed the passage for 200 yards. The temperature dropped another 10 degrees. Our breath fogged thick in the headlamp beams. Frost crept along the walls in fractal patterns that didn't match anything I had seen topside. Then we hit the door. Steel. Reinforced. 8 feet high, 6 feet wide, set into a concrete frame that had been poured directly into the rock. The metal was clean. No rust, no corrosion. Just cold, dull gray. And a stenciled inscription across the top, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Subterranean Operations Division, 1962, authorized personnel. Only Matheson photographed it. 3 shots, different angles. Subterranean Operations Division, he read aloud. Anyone heard of that? We all shook our heads. Corps of Engineers does construction, Santos said. Dams, bridges, fortifications, not this. Maybe it was classified, Reeves said. Cold War project, built and buried. For 30 years? I studied the door. No keypad, no card reader, just a manual wheel lock, the kind you'd see on a ship's bulkhead. If it's been sealed since '62, why does it look like it was cleaned yesterday? No one answered that either. Reeves gripped the wheel. Hart, Santos, cover the corridor. Matheson on me. I moved back 15 feet, rifle shouldered, covering our 6. Santos took the opposite angle. Behind me, I heard the screech of metal on metal as Reeves turned the wheel. It shouldn't have moved, but it did. The door swung open on smooth hinges. Warm air rolled out. Not hot, not even uncomfortable, just warm. Maybe 60 degrees, dry, circulating. Jesus, Santos whispered. The lights inside were on. We moved through the doorway like we were breaching hostile structure. Pie off the corners. Clear the immediate threat space, controlled breathing. But the space beyond wasn't what any of us expected. A corridor, 20 feet wide, 12 feet high, overhead fluorescent fixtures every 10 feet, all functioning, casting sterile white light across pale green walls. Tile floor, spotless, no dust, no debris, no sign of time at all. It looked like a hospital hallway or a school, somewhere institutional, somewhere people worked. Power's on, Matheson said quietly. He touched one of the fixtures. These are incandescent bulbs, old style, but they're lit. Emergency grid, Reeves suggested. For 30 years? We moved forward. Doors lined both sides of the corridor. Metal with small rectangular windows at eye level, dark glass. Each door had a stenciled number, 1A, 1B, 1C. Some were closed, some stood ajar. I reached the first open door and glanced inside. Sleeping quarters, 4 bunks, neatly made. Olive drab blankets folded at perfect right angles. Footlockers at the base of each bed. A bulletin board on the wall with a duty roster still pinned to it. Names written in faded ink. The top line read, March 1963. Check this, Santos called from further down the hall. I moved to him. He stood in the doorway of another room, larger this time. Mess area. 8 tables, folding metal chairs tucked underneath. Trays on the tables, plates, forks, cups, all positioned like someone had just stepped away mid-meal. Food? Reeves asked. Santos shook his head. Nothing left. But the trays are clean. No mold, no rot. It's like they were washed and set out yesterday. Matheson checked the adjacent room. Kitchen, industrial-sized appliances, a stainless steel countertop, utensils hanging from wall racks, everything in its place. "This doesn't make sense," he said. "If this place was abandoned in 1963, we should be seeing decay. Rust, dust, something." "Maybe it wasn't abandoned," I said. They all looked at me. Maybe they just left. We moved deeper. The corridor branched. Left led to what looked like storage. Crates stacked along the walls, stenciled with alphanumeric codes I didn't recognize. Right led to another hallway, narrower, with more doors. We went right. The air was still warm, still circulating. I could hear it now, a low hum, mechanical like a ventilation system running somewhere below us. "Generator?" Santos asked. "Or something else," Reeves said. The next room stopped us cold. Operations center, or something like it. Desks arranged in a semicircle, facing a large wall map. Hand-drawn, showing a network of tunnels extending in all directions from this central point. Dozens of branches. Some marked with red X's, others with coordinates, a few with single words, sealed, collapsed, active. There were radios, old ones, Vietnam-era AN/PRC sets, mounted on the desks, antennas still extended. One had a headset draped over it, cord coiled neatly. Matheson moved to the nearest radio. He didn't touch it, just stared. "What?" I asked. He pointed at the display panel, small, analog, showing a date and time. March 15th, 1963, 11:42. The lights on the radio were on. I don't know how long we stood there, staring at that radio. Maybe 30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. Time felt wrong in that room, stretched thin, like it didn't move the way it should. Santos broke the silence. "That's not possible." "None of this is possible," Matheson said. Reeves moved to the radio. Slowly, like he expected it to bite. He picked up the headset, held it to his ear. His expression didn't change, but I saw his jaw tighten. "Anything?" I asked. He lowered the headset. "Static. Just static." "Dead air?" "No. Active static, like the channel's open, but no one's transmitting." He set the headset down carefully, like he was afraid of disturbing something. "We need to document this. Everything. Every room, every piece of equipment. Then we're out." We split up. Matheson took the operations center, photographing the map, the radios, the logbooks stacked on the desks. Santos moved back to the sleeping quarters, cataloging personal effects. Uniforms still hanging in lockers, boots lined up under bunks, photographs pinned to walls, pictures of wives, kids, hometowns. I took the western branch of the corridor. It ended in another steel door. Smaller this time, no inscription, just a red light above the frame, lit, glowing faintly. I tested the handle. Locked. "Reeves," I called. "Got something." He joined me 30 seconds later, studied the door, the light. "Only sealed door we found so far." "Think there's a reason?" "Always is." He tried the handle himself. Locked solid, no wheel, no keypad. Just a manual bolt lock on the outside, thrown into place. He drew the bolt back. The red light turned green. The door opened by itself. Cold air poured out, not the dry, ventilated cold of the corridor. This was wet, raw, the kind of cold that comes from deep earth, from places where sunlight has never reached. The room beyond was dark. Our headlamps carved tunnels through the black, catching edges of metal, glass, concrete. I moved in first, rifle up. It was a lab. Workbenches lined the walls. Microscopes, centrifuges, glass beakers and steel trays. A wall-mounted cabinet filled with specimen jars, liquid still clear, contents suspended inside. I didn't look too closely at those. In the center of the room, an examination table, stainless steel, restraints at the wrists and ankles, blood stains, old and brown, streaked across the surface. What the hell were they doing down here? Reeves whispered. Matheson moved to the workbench, shining his light across the documents scattered there. Field notes, diagrams, anatomical sketches of something that wasn't human. Too many joints, elongated limbs, a skull structure that didn't match any known species. They were studying something, Matheson said. Or trying to. Santos appeared in the doorway behind us. Guys, you need to see this. We followed him back to the operations center. He stood in front of the wall map, pointing at one of the marked tunnels. I thought these were just routes, he said. But look. I leaned closer. Each tunnel had a notation, dates, distances, status reports. But one tunnel, marked in red, extending northeast from the central chamber, had a single word written beside it. Breach. Beneath it, another line. March 14th, 1963. No contact since. Breach, Reeves repeated. Into what? No one answered. Then the radio crackled. We all froze. The radio on the center desk, same one with the date display, the one Reeves had checked, hissed with static. Then a voice cut through. Faint, distorted, but unmistakable. Nightcrawler actual, this is watch 6. Request sit rep. Silence. 5 seconds. 10. Then again. Confirm personnel status. You are overdue. Santos grabbed the headset. Reeves caught his wrist. Don't. Someone's transmitting. From where? Reeves hissed. There's no one down here. No antenna, no relay. Where is that signal coming from? The radio went silent. We stood there, breathing shallow, listening. The ventilation hum continued. The lights stayed on. But the air felt different now. Thicker, like the room was holding its breath. Matheson checked the radio's frequency display. It's not on any registered band. Not military, not civilian, just blank. Could be a recording, I said. Looped transmission, set to broadcast on a timer. For 30 years? Santos said. Then what's your explanation? He didn't have one. Reeves moved to the map, traced the tunnel marked breach with his finger. They found something, whatever was on the other side of that tunnel. March 14th, 1963. The day before that radio date. And they lost contact, Matheson finished. Not just contact, Reeves said quietly. They lost the whole installation. Look at the roster in the sleeping quarters. 32 names. You see any bodies? Any signs of evacuation? We all shook our heads. They didn't leave, Reeves said. They just stopped. The mission parameters were clear. Document and extract. No engagement. No investigation beyond structural survey. But I could see the decision forming in Reeves' eyes before he spoke. We need to check that tunnel, he said. The one marked breach. Sir, we're not equipped for... I know what we're equipped for, Chief. Reeves's voice was calm, steady. But if something breached into this facility in 1963, and if it's still down here, we need to know. Because if we seal this place and walk away, we're leaving an open question under American soil. It's been 30 years, I said. Whatever it was, it's gone. Then the tunnel will be empty. Reeves checked his rifle, brass check, chamber clear. But we're going to make sure. We prepped for movement. Reeves on point, me behind him. Matheson third, Santos rear security. We left the operations center, following the map's directions, down the main corridor, past the sleeping quarters, to a junction we bypassed earlier. The tunnel entrance was there, darker than the rest. The lights inside were out. The frame was reinforced, steel beams bolted into the rock like someone had tried to shore it up or contain it. Above the entrance, stenciled in faded yellow paint, authorized access only biological hazard. We crossed the threshold into the dark. Our headlamps lit the way, 20 feet of visibility, maybe less. The walls were rougher here, less finished. The floor sloped downward at a 5-degree angle. Water trickled somewhere ahead, echoing. 50 feet in, we found the first body. Not human. It was slumped against the wall, desiccated, blackened, but intact enough to see the structure. 8 feet tall, bipedal. 4-fingered hands, each finger jointed 3 times. The skull was elongated, almost canine, but the teeth were flat. Herbivore teeth. Matheson knelt beside it. Jesus Christ. Don't touch it, Reeves said. I'm not. Matheson aimed his light at the chest. Look. Bullet wounds. 3 of them. Center mass, exit wounds in the back, blown wide. They shot it, I said. And it died here, Reeves said. So where are the others? We moved deeper. The tunnel widened. More bodies appeared. Some human, some not. The human remains were in uniform. U.S. Army, 1960s era. Name tapes still legible. I recognized none of the names. Most of the bodies were torn apart. Limbs scattered. Rib cages cracked open. The non-human remains were worse. Larger. More variety. Different species, maybe. Or different stages of the same species. Some had been burned. Others crushed by cave-ins. One was impaled on a steel support beam, pinned to the ceiling like an insect in a collection. This was a war, Santos whispered. Or an extermination, Matheson said. We found the end of the tunnel 300 feet in, a wall, concrete, hastily poured, still rough at the edges, steel rebar jutting out at angles, blast marks scorched across the surface. They sealed it, Reeves said, from this side. Sealed what? I asked. He pointed his light at the wall, at the cracks running through the concrete, at the gaps where the seal hadn't quite held, and at the claw marks gouged into the stone around the edges. Something had tried to dig through. We stood there for a long time, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10. No one spoke. No one moved. We just stared at that wall and tried to process what we were seeing. Then Matheson's radio clicked. Not the ancient setback in the operations center. His personal ANPRC 148. Modern, encrypted, linked to our team net. A voice crackled through, not ours, not anyone we knew. Nightcrawler actual, this is Watch 6, request sit rep. Same voice, same cadence, same words. But this time, it was on our frequency. Reeves keyed his radio. Twice. No transmission, just the click of the PTT button. A signal for us to go silent. We moved back toward the main facility. Fast. Tactical spacing maintained, but the discipline was cracking at the edges. Santos kept glancing over his shoulder. Matheson's breathing was too loud. I could feel my pulse in my throat. The voice on the radio didn't repeat. We reached the operations center in 4 minutes. Reeves went straight to the wall map, studying the tunnel network with new eyes. They're not all sealed, he said. Look, 3 branches marked active. No dates, no status. Active as of when? I asked. That's the question. He traced one of the branches with his finger. This one connects to the surface, half a mile northeast. Grid coordinates put it... He stopped. What? Inside the park boundary, near the Hensley Settlement Historical Site. Matheson swore under his breath. That's open to the public, April through October. Not now, Santos said. Park's closed. Closed to tourists, I said, not to whatever's down here. Reeves made the call. Literal call. He tried the satellite phone first. No signal, 300 feet of limestone overhead. Then he tried the hardline radio, the one we'd brought in as backup. Static, every frequency, just static. We're cut off, he said. Jammed? Matheson asked. Or something else. We moved back to the sleeping quarters. Reeves wanted documentation, names, service numbers, anything that could identify who'd been stationed here. Santos and I started pulling logbooks from the lockers while Matheson photographed the duty roster. That's when I found the journal. Personal effects, stuffed in the back of a footlocker under 2 folded blankets. Green canvas cover, water-stained, pages brittle. The first entry was dated January 7th, 1963. The handwriting was tight, controlled. Officer's penmanship. I flipped to the last entry. March 14th, 1963. March 14th, 1963, they're inside the wire. We lost the northeast tunnel at 0340, collapsed the entrance with demo charges, but we could hear them digging through before the dust even settled. Thompson's squad held the junction for 90 minutes. Kia. Thompson, Alvarez, Nichols. MIA, Kerrigan, Webb. MIA, that's what we're calling it when they drag you into the dark. Dr. Voss says we provoked them. That the initial excavation broke into their habitat and they're defending territory. Command says we were following orders. Doesn't matter now. The only order that matters is survival. We're pulling back to the main hub, sealing everything we can. Emergency power should hold for weeks, maybe longer. Food for 30 days if we ration. But I don't think we have 30 days. They don't hunt like animals. They hunt like soldiers, probing for weaknesses, testing our perimeter. Every time we seal a tunnel, they find another route. It's like they know the structure better than we do. Maybe they built it. That's what Voss thinks. That we didn't dig into their territory. We dug into their architecture. That these tunnels are older than the core survey. Older than the sediment layers. That something was here before the rock formed. I don't know what's worse. That we woke something up. Or that it's been awake this whole time, just waiting. Last radio contact with Surface Command was 6 hours ago. They said they're sending a recovery team. I don't think anyone's coming. If you're reading this, get out. Don't try to help us. Don't try to understand. Just seal the doors and forget this place exists. Signed, Captain Michael Garrett, CO, Subterranean Operations Division. I showed the journal to Reeves. He read it twice, didn't say anything, just handed it back and stared at the wall for 10 seconds. We're leaving, he said. Now. No one argued. We moved back toward the main entrance, retracing our route through the corridor. The lights were still on, the ventilation still humming. But something had changed. The air pressure, maybe, or the temperature. It was colder now, not freezing, but dropping fast. Matheson noticed it first. Temperatures down 15 degrees in the last 10 minutes. Ventilation failure? Santos asked. Or something opened. We reached the steel door, the one we'd entered through, the one with the Corps of Engineers inscription. It was closed. Wheel lock turned, bolt thrown, from the outside. I was the first to reach it. I grabbed the wheel and pulled, locked solid. Someone sealed us in, Santos said. There's no one up there, Matheson said. We're alone. We're not alone, Reeves said quietly. We haven't been since we opened that door. He tried the wheel himself, locked. He checked the frame, looking for manual override, emergency release. Nothing. Just solid steel and stone. "We cut through," I said. "With what?" "We've got breaching charges for doors, not blast doors." Reeves stepped back, thinking. The journal mentioned other routes. Active tunnels. One leads to the surface near the Hensley settlement. "Half a mile through tunnels we haven't mapped," Matheson said. "Tunnels they used." "You have a better option?" Matheson didn't. We went back to the operations center. Reeves studied the wall map, tracing the route with his finger. Northeast tunnel, 700 meters, 4 junctions, 2 side passages marked sealed, 1 marked collapse, unstable. "Stay quiet, stay tight, no lights unless necessary," Reeves said. "If we run into anything, we fall back and find another route. No heroics, no contact unless unavoidable. Understood?" We all nodded. He pulled a grease pencil from his kit and marked the map, drew our planned route in red, backup routes in blue. Then he photographed it. Backup of a backup. Standard procedure, except nothing about this was standard. We moved out at 13:20 hours, 4 SEALs in single file. Reeves on point, me second, Matheson third, Santos pulling rear security. Rifles up, safeties off, fingers off triggers. Controlled breathing, no talking. The northeast tunnel entrance was 30 feet past the operations center, hidden behind a storage alcove we'd bypassed earlier. The lights inside were out. We switched to nods, night observation devices, Gen 3 tubes, green phosphor. The world turned monochrome. The tunnel was wider than the breach corridor. 10 feet across, high ceiling, at least 12 feet. The walls were smooth here, too smooth. I ran my gloved hand along the surface as we moved. It felt wrong, not stone, not concrete. Something else, glassy, almost warm. 50 meters in, we found the first junction. 2 paths, left and right. The map said left. Reeves signaled. We went left. The temperature kept dropping. Our breath fogged even through nods. Frost was forming on the walls now, intricate patterns that looked almost deliberate, almost like writing. Matheson tapped my shoulder, pointed at the frost. I looked closer. Not writing. Claw marks, thousands of them, overlapping, fresh. We moved faster. The second junction came up at 120 meters, straight or right. The map said straight. We went straight. That's when we heard it. Behind us. Distant. A sound like metal scraping stone. Slow, deliberate, then silence. Santos keyed his radio. 2 clicks. Contact possible. We froze. Listened. The sound came again. Closer this time. Not scraping. Breathing. Long, slow inhalations. Something big. Something with lungs. Reeves signaled. Keep moving. We did. The third junction appeared at 200 meters. Left, straight, or right. The map said straight. But Reeves stopped. The straight path was blocked. Not collapsed. Blocked. Deliberately. Steel plate, welded into the tunnel mouth, reinforced with I-beams. Fresh weld marks, still dark, not oxidized. That wasn't on the map, Matheson whispered. Reeves checked his compass, confirmed direction. We're in the right place. Someone sealed this after the map was made. After 1963, Santos said. Or last week. The breathing sound came again. Behind us, 50 meters, maybe less. Reeves pointed left. New route. We moved. The left passage narrowed. 8 feet wide. 7. 6. The ceiling dropped. We went from standing upright to crouching, then to hands and knees. The nods made it worse. No depth perception, just flat green space that could be 10 feet or 10 inches ahead. Matheson's radio clicked. Once. Question. Keep going. Reeves clicked back. Twice. Yes. The crawl space opened after 30 feet. We emerged into a chamber. Natural cave, maybe 40 feet across, stalactites hanging from the ceiling like teeth. 3 exits, 1 behind us, 2 ahead. And in the center of the chamber, bones. Human, recently stripped. Clothing still attached in places, modern fabric, nylon, synthetic. The skull was intact, facing us, jaw open in a silent scream. Reeves moved closer. Checked the remains. Found a wallet in the jacket pocket. Virginia driver's license, issued 1989. Name, Timothy Ford. Age, 34. He was down here 2 years ago, Reeves whispered. How'd he get in? I asked. Reeves pointed at the right-hand exit. Probably that way. Natural entrance. Maybe he was a caver. Explored somewhere he shouldn't. And something ate him. Something killed him. Ate him later. Reeves stood. We keep moving. We took the left exit. Another tunnel. This one sloped upward. Good sign. Surface was up. We needed up. The breathing sound followed us. 200 meters. The tunnel branched again. This time, no map reference. We were off the 1963 chart. Reeves chose right. Steeper angle, more likely to reach surface. The walls changed. Less smooth, more natural. Limestone formations, flowstone, mineral deposits. We were transitioning from artificial structure to natural cave system. That should have been good news. But the claw marks were still there. Everywhere. Gouged deep into the rock. Some old, some fresh. Some still weeping mineral-rich water like open wounds. Matheson tapped my shoulder, pointed ahead. Light. Faint. Not artificial. Natural light. Gray and cold, but unmistakable. Daylight. We moved toward it, faster now. The slope increased. 30 degrees. 40. We were climbing, using handholds, pulling ourselves up. The breathing sound fell away behind us. Either it stopped following, or we'd outpaced it. The light grew stronger. We emerged onto a ledge. Small opening, 3 feet wide, partially hidden by dead brush and snow. Beyond, forest. Afternoon light, overcast, snow falling in lazy spirals. We'd made it out. Reeves went first. Crawled through the opening, swept the area, signaled clear. I followed. Then Matheson. Santos came last, moving backward, covering our 6 until the moment he squeezed through. We were on a hillside. Steep grade, thick vegetation. I checked my GPS. Coordinates put us 800 meters northeast of the main entrance. Inside park boundaries, just like Reeves had said. Hensley Settlement is that way. Reeves pointed northeast. 2 clicks. We can reach the service road by 1500 if we move. We moved. The forest was silent. No birds, no wind, just snowfall and our breathing. We kept to the trees, avoiding open ground, using terrain for concealment. Standard E and E, escape and evasion. But we weren't evading enemy soldiers. We were evading something we didn't understand. Halfway to the service road, Santos stopped. We're being followed, he said. We all froze, listened. Nothing, just silence and snow. You sure? Reeves asked. Santos nodded. Movement, 3 o'clock, parallel to our route, staying in the trees. I looked, saw nothing. But Santos had the best eyes in the team. If he said something was there, something was there. Human? Matheson asked. No. We picked up the pace. Fast walk, almost a jog. The service road was close. Once we reached it, we could call for extraction, get air support, get answers. The movement kept pace with us. I caught glimpses now, shadows between trees, too tall to be deer, too fast to be human, always at the edge of vision, never clear, never still long enough to focus. Santos keyed his radio. 3 clicks, multiple contacts. Reeves signaled, keep moving, Don't engage. We broke through the tree line at 14:47 hours. The service road stretched ahead, gravel and mud, tire tracks from parked service vehicles. Our rental was parked 200 meters north. We ran. The shadows followed. Not parallel anymore. Converging. Coming from both sides now, moving through the forest like smoke. We reached the vehicle at 14:49. Reeves had the keys. Matheson and Santos covered while he unlocked it. I watched the tree line. The shadows stopped. Just inside the forest. 6 of them, maybe more. I couldn't get a clear count. They were shaped wrong. Too tall, too thin, limbs that bent at angles that didn't match human anatomy. One of them stepped forward, into the light. 8 feet tall, gray skin, almost translucent. 4 jointed limbs, elongated skull, eyes, 3 of them, arranged in a triangle on the forehead, black and reflective, like a beetle's. It didn't move like an animal. It moved like something that was deciding whether to move, calculating, watching. Then it opened its mouth. The sound that came out wasn't a roar. It was a whistle, high-pitched, modulated, almost musical. The other shadows whistled back. Different pitches, different rhythms, communication. "Get in the fucking truck," Reeves said. We did. Reeves gunned the engine. The tires spun in the gravel, caught, launched us forward. I looked back through the rear window. The shadows didn't chase us. They just watched, standing at the tree line, perfectly still. Then they turned and melted back into the forest. We drove in silence for 20 minutes. Reeves got us back to the main highway, then pulled over at a rest area. He killed the engine and sat there, hands still on the wheel, staring straight ahead. "Did we just see that?" Santos said finally. "We all saw it," Matheson said. "Then what the hell was it?" No one answered. Reeves pulled out the satellite phone, dialed a number from memory, waited. Someone picked up on the 3rd ring. "This is Nightcrawler Actual," Reeves said. "Mission complete. Request immediate debrief. Priority Alpha." He listened. His expression didn't change, but I saw his jaw tighten again. "Understood," he said. "We'll hold position." He hung up. "What did they say?" I asked. "They're sending a team. We stay here. We don't talk to anyone. We don't file written reports. We wait." "For what?" "For people who know what we just found." They arrived 3 hours later. 2 black SUVs. No markings, no plates. 6 men in civilian clothes, all with the same haircut, same build, same dead-eyed stare. The lead man approached Reeves. They spoke for 5 minutes. Low voices. I couldn't hear the conversation. Then the man gestured to the rest of us. "You're coming with us," he said. Not a request. We got in the SUVs. They drove us to a hangar at McGee Tyson Airport. Private facility, no windows. Inside, tables, chairs, recording equipment. 3 more men waiting. One of them wore a suit. The others wore lab coats. The suit spoke first. "Gentlemen, I'm going to make this very simple. What you saw today is classified beyond top secret. You will not speak of it. You will not write about it. You will not think about it in any context where you might be overheard. Do you understand?" We nodded. "Good. Now, tell me everything." We did. Every detail, every moment, the facility, the bodies, the journal, the sealed tunnels, the creatures in the forest. They recorded everything, asked questions, took notes. When we finished, the suit nodded. "You're being reassigned, effective immediately. New duty stations, different teams. You will not contact each other. You will not discuss this mission. If you attempt to do so, you will be charged under the Espionage Act. Are we clear?" What about the facility? Reeves asked. What about the tunnels? Being handled. By who? By people who've been handling it since 1963. They let us go 6 hours later. Separate flights, different destinations. I ended up in Little Creek, Virginia. New team, new mission set. No one asked about Cumberland Gap. No one mentioned Nightcrawler. I didn't see Reeves, Matheson, or Santos again for 8 years. But I heard the stories. Rumors, whispers in the teams, about a mission that didn't happen, about a place that didn't exist, about men who went underground and came back different, about shadows in the Cumberland forest that still watch the trails, and about a radio that still broadcasts every March 15th, asking for a sit rep that will never come. I stayed quiet for 8 years. I followed orders. I took the reassignments. I ran missions in Bosnia, Somalia, the Philippines. I didn't talk about Cumberland Gap. I didn't think about it, or I tried not to. But some things don't let you forget. Every March 15th, like clockwork, I'd wake up at 0340. Same time the journal said they lost the Northeast Tunnel. Same time Captain Garrett and his men started dying. I'd lie there in the dark, listening to nothing, and wonder if somewhere under Kentucky limestone, that radio was still asking for a sit rep, wondering if anything was still listening. Then, in 1999, Miguel Santos called me. I hadn't heard his voice in 8 years, didn't recognize the number, almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Hart? His voice was different, older, rougher. We need to talk. We met in a diner outside Norfolk. Public place, neutral ground. Santos looked like he'd aged 20 years. Thinner, graying at the temples, dark circles under his eyes that no amount of sleep would fix. I tried to forget, he said. Did everything they told us. New team, new missions. Kept my head down, but 3 months ago I got a package. No return address, just a postmark from Knoxville, Tennessee. He slid a manila envelope across the table. Inside, photographs, black and white, high resolution, taken with telephoto lens from distance. The first photo showed the entrance to Cumberland Gap. The sinkhole, our original entry point. Date stamp in the corner, February 1999. The second photo showed the same location. Date stamp, March 1999. The sinkhole was sealed. Concrete, steel reinforcement, fresh pour, still curing. Someone's been watching the site, Santos said, and someone wants us to know. I looked at the third photo. It showed a man, late 50s, maybe 60. Gray hair, weathered face, standing at the forest edge near the Hensley settlement, looking directly at the camera, like he knew he was being photographed, like he wanted to be seen. Do you recognize him? Santos asked. I studied the face, military bearing, the way he stood, the way he watched. Then I saw it. The scar on his left cheek, 3 parallel lines, claw marks. That's him, I said quietly. That's Captain Michael Garrett. Santos leaned back. That's what I thought, but it's impossible. Garrett died in 1963. The journal said so. The facility was sealed. No survivors. Then who was that? That's the question I've been asking for 3 months. Santos pulled out another photo. I did some digging, quiet digging. Used contacts I probably shouldn't have used. Found this. The new photo was a military service record. Partial, heavily redacted. But the name was clear. Michael J. Garrett. Captain, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Date of birth, April 12th, 1927. Date of death, redacted. Service history, redacted. Duty stations, redacted. Final assignment, Subterranean Operations Division, Cumberland Gap, Kentucky. Status, redacted. No death date, I said. No separation date either. No discharge, no retirement, just blank. Like he never left. Santos nodded. I found something else. Medical records. Incomplete, but enough. Garrett was admitted to Walter Reed Hospital in April 1963, 1 month after the facility was sealed. Diagnosis: severe malnutrition, dehydration, psychological trauma. He was discharged 3 weeks later into VA psychiatric care. So he survived. He survived. But according to every official record, he didn't exist anymore. Social Security number invalidated. Bank accounts closed. Marriage certificate voided. It's like they erased him. Witness protection? Or something worse. I looked at the photo again. The man in the forest, still alive, still watching. Why did someone send you this? I asked. I don't know, but there's more. Santos pulled out a folded piece of paper, handwritten note, old-style cursive, the kind they don't teach anymore. It read, "They're still down there. They never left. If you want the truth, find me. March 15th. Same place you came out. 1400 hours, come alone, tell no one. MJG. March 15th is next week," Santos said. I folded the note, slid it back across the table. This is a trap. Probably. Could be DOD, Black Ops, testing to see if we kept our mouths shut. Could be. Or it could be Garrett, I said, trying to tell us something they don't want us to know. Santos was quiet for a long moment. Then, "I'm going, whether you come or not." I thought about it. Thought about the orders we'd been given, the threats, the Espionage Act, the 8 years of silence. Then I thought about that radio, that voice, asking for a sit rep, asking for men who'd been dead for 36 years. "I'll make some calls," I said. "See if I can find Reeves or Matheson. We go as a team, or we don't go." I found Reeves 3 days later. He'd left the Navy in '95, taken a job with a defense contractor doing security consulting. Married, 2 kids, living in Alexandria, normal life. He didn't want to talk about Cumberland Gap. I put that behind me, Hart. So should you. Someone sending us messages. Someone who was there in '63, that's not possible. I've seen the photos. Silence on the line. Then, send them to me. I did. Encrypted email. He called back an hour later. "That's him," Reeves said. "I don't know how, but that's Garrett. Santos is going to meet him, March 15th. That's insane. Probably. But if there's even a chance he knows what really happened down there. We know what happened. We saw it. We saw part of it. Garrett lived through all of it. He knows why they sealed the facility, why they erased him, why they're still watching the site 40 years later." Reeves was quiet for a long time. Then, "I'll try to find Matheson. If he's in, I'm in. But Hart, if this goes bad, we're on our own. No backup, no extraction, no official support." Understood? Understood. Matheson was harder to find. He'd left the Navy in '93, dropped off the grid. No social media, no listed phone, no forwarding address. It took Reeves 5 days and 3 intermediaries to track him down. He was living in Montana, small cabin, off-grid, hunting, fishing, staying away from people. When Reeves finally got him on the phone, Matheson's first words were, "I'm not going back there." "We're not asking you to go inside," Reeves said, "just to be there. 4 of us, like last time. Last time almost killed us. This time might give us answers." Matheson hung up, but 3 days later, he called back. "I'll come," he said, "but not because I want answers. because if Santos is walking into a trap, he shouldn't do it alone. March 15th, 1999. We met at the rest area on Highway 25E, same place we'd regrouped 8 years earlier. 4 men, older now, carrying weight we hadn't carried before. But still a team. Reeves had a truck, civilian plates, untraceable rental. We loaded gear, pistols, radios, GPS, medical kit. No rifles. Too obvious. This was supposed to be a conversation, not a firefight. We drove to the park, arrived at 13:30 hours. The main gates were closed for the season, but we found a service entrance, unlocked, like someone had been expecting us. We hiked to the coordinates. Same hillside, same cave opening we'd used to escape. The brush had been cleared away, recently. Boot prints in the snow, size 11, military tread. Garrett was waiting inside. He looked exactly like the photo. Late 60s, weathered, gray hair. But up close, you could see more. The scar on his cheek, the way his hands shook, just slightly. The hollowness in his eyes. The look of a man who'd seen something that never stopped looking back. "You came," he said. His voice was rough. Decades of cigarettes, maybe, or decades of screaming. "You asked?" Reeves said. "We're here. Talk." Garrett gestured deeper into the cave. "Not out here. They're watching." "Who?" "The same people who've been watching since 1963. The same ones who told you to forget. The same ones who've been feeding those things for 40 years. We followed him inside. The cave opened into a small chamber. Natural formation, dry, hidden. Garrett had set up camp. Sleeping bag, lantern, supplies. This wasn't a meeting place. This was a hideout. "I've been here for 3 weeks, Garrett said, waiting for the date, waiting for you." "Why us?" Santos asked. "Because you've been inside, because you've seen them, and because you're not part of the lie." Garrett sat down on a rock, lit a cigarette. His hands were still shaking. "They didn't tell you the truth," he said, "about what we found, about why we were down there." "We read your journal," I said. "You were excavating. You broke into their habitat. They fought back." "That's what I thought too. That's what they told us to think." Garrett took a drag. But it wasn't their habitat. It was their prison. We all went silent. "Explain," Reeves said. Garrett exhaled smoke. "The Subterranean Operations Division wasn't doing research. We were doing containment. Those tunnels, those structures, they've been there for thousands of years. Maybe longer. The Army found them in 1957 during a routine geological survey. Seismic readings showed void spaces that shouldn't exist. So they sent engineers to investigate. And they found the facility," Matheson said. "They found something that looked like a facility. But it was older than that. Older than America. Older than modern humans. The walls weren't carved, they were grown. The geometry wasn't designed by us. We just moved in and pretended we built it." "Why?" I asked. "Because something was already living there, and someone, long before us, had sealed them inside." Garrett ground out his cigarette. "We were supposed to maintain the seals, reinforce them, make sure nothing got out. But Dr. Voss, the lead scientist, he wanted to study them, understand them. So he ordered us to breach one of the sealed sections." "March 14th, 1963, Santos said. Garrett nodded. "We opened a door that had been sealed for centuries, maybe millennia, and what came through..." He stopped, swallowed hard. "They weren't animals. They were intelligent, organized. And they were starving. We lost half the unit in the first 6 hours," Garrett continued. "The rest of us fell back to the main hub, sealed every tunnel we could, But they kept coming, not all at once, strategically, testing our defenses, learning our patterns. By the end of the second day, we knew we couldn't hold. Then how did you survive? Reeves asked. I didn't. Not the way that matters. Garrett stood up, walked to the cave entrance, stared out at the forest. I made a deal. We all looked at each other. What kind of deal? I asked. The kind you make when you're the last man alive, and the only door left is locked from both sides. Garrett turned back to us. They didn't want to kill us. They wanted to communicate, to negotiate. They'd been trapped down there so long, they'd forgotten why. Forgotten who sealed them. But they knew one thing. The seals were failing, and when they failed completely, those things would spread. So what did you do? I agreed to help maintain the seals, from the outside, to make sure no one ever opened those doors again. In exchange, they let me live. That's insane, Santos said. You're telling us you've been working with those things for 36 years? Not with them. For them, there's a difference. Garrett pulled something from his pocket. Small black device. Radio transmitter. This is how they communicate. The signal you heard on March 15th, it's not a recording. It's them. Asking if the seals are holding, asking if anyone's trying to get in. And you answer, I said. Every year, same date, same time, I tell them the seals are holding, that no one's coming, that they're safe. But they're not, Reeves said. We saw the facility, the tunnels, someone's still maintaining them, someone's still going inside. Garrett's expression hardened. That's why I brought you here. Because the government didn't stop. They just got smarter. After 63, they classified everything. Built new access points. Started running experiments again, not to contain them, to weaponize them. Jesus Christ, Matheson whispered. There's a black project. No name, no official funding, run out of a facility in Nevada. They've been breeding them, training them, testing them as biological weapons. And 6 months ago, something went wrong. One of the test subjects escaped, made it back to Cumberland Gap, back to the original tunnels. How do you know this? I asked. Because I've been monitoring the radio traffic. Because I've seen the containment teams going in and out. And because 3 weeks ago, I intercepted a message. They're planning to flood the entire system, collapse all the tunnels, bury everything, everyone. When? March 20th, 5 days from now. We stood there in silence, processing, trying to make sense of it. Why are you telling us this? Reeves asked finally. Because someone needs to know the truth. Because when they collapse those tunnels, they're not just burying the creatures. They're burying the evidence, the journals, the records, the proof that they knew what they were doing and did it anyway. And you want us to stop them, I said. No. I want you to document it, get the story out, tell people what's really down there, what the government has been doing for 40 years. They'll kill us, Santos said. They'll try. But if enough people know, if the story gets out before they can suppress it, then maybe it matters. Garrett handed Reeves a folder. Thick, stuffed with documents, photographs, maps, radio transcripts, decades of evidence. This is everything I've collected, names, dates, locations, testimony. It's enough to force an investigation, maybe even a congressional hearing. But you have to get it out. Before March 20th. Reeves took the folder, opened it, started reading. His expression darkened with every page. This is... Jesus, Garrett. This is treason. For both of us. It's the truth that's more important. Is it? Reeves closed the folder. Because the truth gets people killed. The truth starts investigations, trials, revolutions. Are you ready for that? I've been ready for 36 years. We left the cave at 1600 hours. Garrett stayed behind, said he had work to do, said he'd make sure the seals held long enough for us to get the story out. We drove back to Norfolk in silence. No one spoke. No one asked what we were going to do with the folder. But we all knew. I'm writing this now, 25 years later, because it's time. Reeves is dead. Heart attack, 2015. Official cause, I have my doubts. Matheson disappeared in 2007. Hiking accident in Montana. They never found the body. Santos died in a car crash in 2019. Single vehicle collision. No witnesses. I'm the last one. And I'm not waiting for an accident. The folder Garrett gave us, I've kept it hidden for 25 years, waiting for the right moment, waiting for a time when the story couldn't be buried. That time is now. The facility under Cumberland Gap is still there. The tunnels are still active. And every March 15th, if you're listening on the right frequency, you can still hear the radio. Still asking for a sit rep. Still waiting for an answer. Official records say the Cumberland Gap Subterranean Operations Division never existed. That Captain Michael Garrett died in 1963. That SEAL Team Nightcrawler never went underground. Official records are wrong. I'm uploading the documents tonight. Everything Garrett gave us, every photograph, every transcript, every proof that the government knows what's down there and has been lying about it for 60 years. They'll come for me. I know that. But by the time they do, the truth will be out. And maybe, someone will finally ask the right questions. Like, what else are they hiding? Like, how many other facilities are there? Like, what happens when the SEALs finally fail? If you're reading this, I'm probably dead. But the story isn't. The creatures under Cumberland Gap are still there, still waiting, still watching. And somewhere in the dark, Captain Michael Garrett is still keeping his promise, still answering that radio, still telling them the SEALs are holding, even though we both know they're not. Dylan Hart, former PO2, Naval Special Warfare, March 15th, 2024, end transmission.